Speaking of environmental sustainability, the Stanley Park Ecology Society is continually working with the city and private investors to preserve the beauty of one of Vancouver's most iconic landmarks. The HSBC Freshwater Initiative allows the Society to implement construction projects to protect wildlife around the park, thanks to a generous donation from the title sponsor. I traveled down to Stanley Park's Lost Lagoon for the initiative's official launch. Members of the Stanley Park Ecology Society are putting some muscle behind a project designed to make an impact. Nestled just beyond the high-rises of Vancouver's West End, the wildlife of Stanley Park's Lost Lagoon will be getting some much-needed privacy.
Basically what we're trying to do is set up these logs offshore as little islands, floating islands for birds. So the Parkwood staff have used their machines to bring the logs to the lagoon. So what we're going to do is grab the logs and basically tie them to chains that we're going to anchor offshore in the lagoon, and hopefully they'll stay there for many years, providing habitat for all the great winter water birds that we have here.
Robin is just happy to put her skills to work thanks to a generous $50,000 donation from HSBC.
Again, HSBC stepping forward with some funding directly to the nonprofits so that we can do what we do well.
Which wasn't always the case. Eroded by years of neglect, it wasn't until the windstorms of '06 and '07 that the public began to take notice.
What it accomplished was a much higher profile for Stanley Park. Everybody loves Stanley Park, but I think they felt that it was resilient in and of itself.
The city is now very much an active partner, putting forth as much as $500,000 in funding.
It was really an eye-opener for us. Quite shocking, actually, and I think it was really was an impetus for us to evaluate our priorities.
The logs installed here today as part of the HSBC Freshwater Initiative is but a small part of the overall Stanley Park Ecological Action Plan, a joint venture between the Ecology Society and the city aimed at restoring damage done to the park over time, setting it up to remain one of the world's most prolific urban park centers well into the future. Lucas Scott in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.